Hey, what's going on, guys? Leo. So we're going to go over the Pump.fun situation. It looks like they've actually been shut down. They are being sued by the government. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about the Iranian conflict, how that's affecting the crypto markets, because we have seen quite a bit of the crypto market been liquidated here recently. And then we're going to go over the Genius Act. The Genius Act is about to be passed into law. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. So breaking, the U.S. Senate votes today at 4:30 Eastern Time on the Genius Act, the landmark stablecoin bill. Now, we've been talking about this for a while here on the channel. This is going to be essentially what opens the floodgates for all these companies like Wells Fargo, JPMorgan, Robinhood, BlackRock, whoever, to start launching their own stablecoins, because I believe that dollar demand deposit accounts, which we've already seen some banks starting to do, I believe it was Vantage Bank was the first one. And dollar demand deposit, that's basically a checking account. Whenever you hear dollar demand, just think dollars that are needed on demand. That's a checking account, essentially. So what we're going to see is we're going to see these banks start converting their checking account, the customer checking accounts. So for example, JPMorgan had filed for a trademark on JPMD, which I'm assuming this means JPMorgan dollar. So this is going to be their ticker symbol for their stablecoin. So what I foresee happening here is, it's no secret that JPMorgan is it's the largest bank in the United States. So this is massive. I'm assuming that this is going to be on Ethereum, because Ethereum already dominates stablecoins, and JPMorgan has been working and building on Ethereum for a very long time. So they're very familiar with it. And the Ethereum allows them to tap into the broader ecosystem. So that just means more business for them. So it just makes sense to have it on Ethereum. Like I said, this is essentially a Trojan horse that's just going to, you ask, how do you onboard retail? What's the iPhone moment for crypto adoption? And that's all these big institutions getting their customer base to essentially just adopt stablecoins. Because from stablecoins, for years we've had this issue with onboard and off ramps for crypto, people having to load money into an exchange, and then, some of the banks get cut off and they don't want to service the exchange anymore. So now people essentially are going to have stable coins, which give them a direct on-ramp to the broader DeFi and crypto market. So, this is a huge step for cryptocurrency adoption. I foresee a future where we basically have a lot of DeFi going on, because you can have like digital identity attached to wallets and stuff. So you can have KYC, because I know regulators are going to want that. But you can essentially have a situation where you just take your digital dollars, like JPMD, and you can just go buy a stock directly. And so it'll be super fast. There's none of this, I've got to transfer my money from this brokerage to my checking account. Now I got to send it to this other exchange for where I want to buy my crypto. There's none of that. It's going to be instantaneous. You can just send your digital dollars instantly settled, instantly completed, and you just, you continue with your transaction. So the next step here with the Genius Act is going to be, so far it's been introduced into the Senate. After it passes the Senate today, then it's going to go to the House. House has to pass it. Hopefully they don't need to make any amendments or anything. Once it passes the House, then it goes to the president, and then it becomes law. I see no reason why the President Trump would not approve this. So I'm going to assume he's already going to pass that. So there's no issue there. I would assume the House is going to pass it as well. I doubt we're going to get any resistance, because my understanding that the House is more Republican controlled. You get more resistance with this on the Democrat side for some reason. I don't know why, but this was a bipartisan bill. So, just overwhelming support, but we do kind of see that resistance from the Democratic Party when it comes to crypto in general. So moving on. So Pump.fun and Solana is officially dead. So apparently Twitter banned every major meme-related account. Pump.fun was hit with a $500 million lawsuit for scams. And, I've been talking about this on this channel for a long time. This was just a matter of time. Going back several months, I was pointing out that, 95% of the volume on Solana is coming from Pump.fun and meme coin scams. So once that bubble pops, the party's over. There's not much else that's Solana is unfortunately being used for. So, it's unfortunate for the bystanders that are going to be bag holders with Solana, but, this is, Yeah, this is going to hurt Solana really, really badly. You know, this is you're essentially losing your one client that you have, which is this big thing, this big scam called Pump.fun. So it looks like here we have the actual lawsuit, the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. It seems that this is they're suing them for securities law violations here. And then we could see all the different accounts associated with Pump.fun and these meme coins that essentially have just been completely suspended. It talks about how Pump.fun never implemented KYC protocols or followed anti-money laundering guidelines. And so, you know, this is a big thing here. So, I mean, you can basically launch a token, for example. Like, let's say you're a cartel. You launch a meme coin scam, you run up the price, and then you can launder that money out from the meme coin. So, you know, there are legitimate concerns there with these meme coin scam situations that are kind of going on. But, you know, pretty much the TLDR on this is that Pump.fun's done, like it's over. So yeah, I think we're going to start seeing a big rotation going back to Ethereum. And actually what's interesting is if we take a look at the chart. So, I mean, I've been talking about this rising wedge here on Solana against Ethereum for a very long time. It's finally breaking down. And I always say they write the news to match the price action. So I'm not surprised that just as we're breaking down from this wedge, that Pump.fun, again, Solana's biggest volume provider, essentially, where all their revenue is coming from, is a scam chain. So, or is a scam protocol. So, you know, it has a long way to go down. We'll put it that way. So we're going to go ahead and move on here. So 100 million was just liquidated from the cryptocurrency market in the past 60 minutes. And this comes from the situation in Iran. So apparently the concern that's going on is that they're working on a trigger, apparently, for a nuclear bomb. And so that is the concern here. And so what they're saying is there is a bunker in, I believe it's called Fordow, that the United States might be stepping in to strike. And so basically what it is the bunker is really deep underground. And so Israel cannot reach it because they don't have the equipment to actually penetrate that deep to hit that bunker. And so the United States is the only one with a bunker buster that can actually get down that deep to destroy this enrichment facility. And so basically the concern here is that this breaks out into like a World War III, or it escalates further. I don't think that's going to be the case. You know, I'm not a geopolitics type of guy, but the United States effectively is going to lose interest once this situation is calmed down. You know, as soon as this bunker is gone, we really don't have a reason to stay. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to drop the bunker buster. I think that's what everything is escalating to. I think the bunker buster is going to get dropped. The facility will be destroyed, and that'll be the end of it. So this is pretty much the height of it, in my opinion. I'm not a geopolitics guy. You know, I'm not a military guy. This is just my speculation, just based on what we've done before with bunker buster type situations. But here's a little video that kind of explains it.
Today, many countries are constructing deep underground bunkers, which are 80 to 90 meters below the Earth's surface. The only weapon that can penetrate that deep is the American GBU-57. This massive ordnance can penetrate more than 200 meters underground. But there's a problem. The GBU-57 has a length of 6 meters and weighs 13 tons. Only the B-2 stealth bomber of the United States Air Force can deploy this big bomb.
So then the president had tweeted, this is actually what caused the liquidation event we had just seen. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out, at least for now. But we want missiles shot, but we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then in another tweet, he followed up to say that they want unconditional surrender from Iran. So I really think this thing is just leading up to the bunker bust. You know, he tweeted out that they have total control over the space of, over the airspace in Iran. So I really think that this is going to be kind of the climax of it. And then this is all going to be behind us. We can take a look here at the chart, and what's interesting is how it's very closely tracking this. I mean, I have not moved this, the cloned bar pattern once since I made this prediction of it going potentially all the way up to 80,000 by January 2027. So it's really interesting that it's tracking very closely to there. We do have this resistance point that we did tap right at, what would it have been? We'll call it 2,900, just rounding up there. So one thing I want to take a look at here is I want to take y'all to the weekly time frame, and I want to take a look at global liquidity, because I know some people are probably concerned about it falling back down. But if we take a look, what's interesting is that price has gotten, so this black line here, this is the 200 weekly EMA. And so what you'll notice, it's very similar about the last time this happened, was that it fell below the 200 weekly EMA, and then it shot right back above it, and then we kind of took off. And that's exactly what's happened here, how we fell below the 200 weekly EMA, we shot right back above it, and now we're just consolidating, moving sideways. But what I want to take a look at is if we bring up the global liquidity, and so this is showing not only the monetary, the M2 global money supply, but it's also taking into account central bank policies like Bank of Japan, United States Fed, etc. So global liquidity is still rising, and if we take a look, this is what has triggered every single Bitcoin bull run and Ethereum bull run since the beginning. So we're seeing a lot of parallels to 2020, April 2020 with Ethereum right now, and with the broader crypto space. So I believe that what we've been in is essentially this prolonged bear market due to the tight monetary policy, and that started back in December of 2021. And so now we're just coming out of that, where global liquidity is rising, central banks are easing their monetary policy. And I think that that's going to fuel the bull run actually going all the way to January of 2027. And so you can see the situation that I kind of have here playing out. We've basically been in this massive bull. I'm just going to get rid of the global liquidity real quick. Go ahead and take that off the screen. There we go. So yeah, so basically we've just been in this massive bull flag consolidating, and we're just waiting to break higher. And I think that's coming very, very soon. So that pretty much wraps up today's video. You have any questions, leave in the comment section down below. And until next time, talk to y'all soon.